In England, declining industry and massive unemployment among teenagers created a disillusioned, angry, and bitter resentment toward the government. Hate and war became their slogan, a reversal of the 60s hippies, love and peace. One British rocker told me, the hippie movement was a failure. There's a million good reasons why the thing failed, okay, but the only thing we've got to live with is that it failed. To tell the tale, they invented a garage music called punk. Right now. I am an antichrist. I am an anarchist. Don't know what I want, but I know how to get it. I want to destroy passers-by, 'cause I want to play anarchy. No dogs allowed. Northeastern Ohio that thinks that people have evolved to a pinnacle. And now we are de-evolving. And our humanness is being stripped away while we're conformed to the image of our technological gods. We are Devo. That we've lost our tails, evolving up from little snails. I say it's all just wind and sails. Are we not men? We are Devo. Are we not men? D-E-V-O. Are we not men? We are Devo. When he published his autobiography in 2016, Bruce Springsteen made a reflective return to Asbury Park on the New Jersey shore. And he writes with a keen sense of his own place in American popular music. Let me read you a little excerpt from his book. We were rock's early third generation, born in time to get the best of rock's reinventors of blues, pop, and soul, the British wave, yet young enough to experience its originators, Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, Chuck Berry, Fats Domino, Roy Orbison, Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis, all still alive and active at the crest of the wave of the 60s. It was rock's most vibrant and turbulent era. Then I'm skipping a bit, but he says, much great and inspirational music has come since, particularly the punk explosion of the late 70s and hip-hop in the 80s. But all in all, we had the luck of the draw. It's part of what's made our band unique, the cross tensions of the 50s blue-collar world and 60s social experience, clashing and melding in our music. We were pre- and post-hippie 60s soul survivors. It's a blend that won't exactly exist firsthand anymore when we're done. The world and society changes too quickly and too much. I mean, Springsteen had such an awareness of the origins of his music and the way that it reflects people's lives back to them in some fashion, as he once put it in an interview. And if the show is really good, he said, your life should flash before your eyes in some way. See, the music reflects a culture it helps to create. Now, I saw Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band on the Born in the USA tour at what was then Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh in 1985. And for his third, I think it was his third encore, but it was his last encore. He stood alone in a single spotlight with an acoustic guitar and harmonica and said words to the effect that countries can be like people and slip from being the best that they can be. And he said, this is the best song ever written about this country. And we all got up and we were standing in our chairs. We had our arms around each other and 65,000 strong singing together the chorus to Woody Guthrie's This Land Is Your Land. And I wrote about it later. What an amazing moment of social unity. People celebrating together our national ideals. Now, it's a kind of commonplace to say that the past is not just the past. But really, it never ceases to amaze how much the past rhymes with the present and influences what might happen tomorrow, which is why we should study history. I couldn't resist. Always, always the educator. But 2020 has the makings of a pivotal moment in history, a global pandemic, a reckoning with racial injustice, a confrontation with the economic effects of globalization and calls for long overdue structural reform, an historic turnout for a presidential election, a rare tipping point with potentially significant consequences. And we can hope that we may yet recover the sense of love of neighbor for the sake of the common good, a biblical principle that has long been an enduring, if mislaid, feature of American culture in the 21st century so far. Now, I have to tell you, I learned a lot from the Heart of Rock and Roll about live performance, 20th century America, African American culture, the entertainment industries. And there was a personal lesson too, and one that I've tried to share in various ways to impress upon my students who are still young, trying to discover their talents and their calling. And when I was doing the show, I dreamed of becoming a music maker. I had plenty of energy and desire and even some talent, but not enough. And sometimes I got to be honest with you, I'm still embarrassed for having trying to be good enough, maybe a little bit too seriously. But, you live and learn. And I got to tell you, sometimes it was really a lot of fun. But creating the show, I realized that I had an aptitude for doing research, putting together an analysis, and that I even enjoyed it. And that I did have some talent, but for teaching and writing. The Heart of Rock and Roll helped usher me into a career in academia and informed the values that animated my teaching and my scholarship. And on that front, my good friend Byron Borger gave me a nod on Facebook when my Cinematic Faith book arrived at his Hearts and Minds bookstore. For fun, he set it up, managing to get most of my books in the picture. You can see the spine of Pop Culture Wars on the shelf, Reforming Hollywood, and Eyes Wide Open, which made the rounds.
First off, we have a book that takes a spiritual look at pop culture, Eyes Wide Open, Looking for God, by William Romanowski. It's a fantastic book. This one didn't do quite as well. This is Eyes Really Wide Open by Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, this was not quite as good.
And with that, friends, stay safe and healthy. And what does the Lord require of us? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. Amen.
That's a wrap, Romo.
What do you say? Not bad for a retired film historian, huh?